Good afternoon and welcome to Mathsatoka online class. If today is your first day of watching our video, please consider subscribing. Okay. Now we want to talk about role and column operation in matrix. Okay. If we have a matrix like this, First of all, let's talk about the role. Okay. Let's talk about the two in general. Now, if I have like this, if I have 2, 0, 1, 4, okay, then I have 1 minus 1, 5, 3, okay, 4, 8, 2, 1, 0, 0, 1, 3, and then we have minus 5, minus 6, 2, and 0. Okay. Now we have this. Now, in role or colon operation, it is written in two ways. Okay, we have two major type of operation. Okay, we have three major types of operation in role and colon. The first one is something like this. If you see something like this, arrow 1 comma maybe 1 2 3 4 5 1 comma 5 without any other thing, it means swap the role of 1 and 5. That's all. Carry role 1, put it in 5. Carry role 5, put it in 1. So the answer to this is simply this is 1 2 3 4 5. So this one will go up, this one will come down. So it is now minus 5. Sorry, let me refill this mark. Minus 5. Okay, I'm going to have minus 5, minus 6, 2, and 0. Okay, then I will have then this one will come down 2, 0, 1, and 4. Then others remain the way they are. Minus 1, 5, 3, 4, 2, 1. Is there any problem? Okay, 8 2 1 8 2 1 0 0 1 3. Okay, now but if you see something like this, if you see now maybe from this particular one, you now see something like colon maybe 2 comma 4, something like this, it means swap the colon of 2 and 4. So the answer to that thing should be, look at the answer. The answer is what? 1. This is colon 1, colon 2. The vertical is colon, while the horizontal is row. So colon 1, colon 2. So this one will come here. 1 2 3 4. So this one will come here, this one will come here. Okay, as simple as that. So the rest remain the way they are from the last answer. Okay, so I'm having minus 5, 1, 4, 0, 2. Then colon 4 will now be here. 0, 3, 1, 3, 4. Okay, colon 3 remain the way it is. 2, 5, 2, 1, 1. Then the colon 2 will now be colon 4, which is minus 6, minus 1, 8, 0, 0. As simple as that. Okay, that is the first method. In fact, okay, that is the first type of operation in role and colon. That is by swapping. So the next one is simply by multiplying a particular role or colon by a scalar. Let me call it by a scalar. Okay, a non-zero scalar. Okay, so the next one is like this. If you have something like this, role 2, they now open bracket and put maybe 3, something like that. It means multiply row 2 by 3. Multiply row 2 by 3. So I'm having leave row 1 the way it is, 2, 0, 1, and 4. Okay, but row 2 we are multiplying by 3. So 3 times 1, 3. 3 times this minus 3. 3 times 5, 15. 3 times 3, 9. Okay, then leave the rest the way they are. 4, 8, 2, 1, 0, 0, 1, 3, minus 5, minus 6, 2, and 0. So you can have it as, you can have another one as what? multiply colon, maybe let me say colon 1 by minus 2, something like this. Multiply colon 1 by minus 2. Okay, so what do we do? Or they can even say multiply it by half. You can use any number. Yeah, if you want to divide, you can say multiply. In fact, let me do that since we have done with this. So let's divide it. In dividing it is by multiplying it by that thing you want to divide. Maybe I want to divide colon 2. Okay, maybe I want to divide colon 2 by maybe 4. I want to divide it by 4 or minus 4. I want the sign to change and equal divide. So I'll say multiply it by minus 1 over 4. It's as good as dividing it. So it's the same thing. So let us do that. Colon 1 is what we are dividing, because what I have here is 1. So this times this, I'm going to have what? This times this, I'm going to have, that is 2 times minus 1 over 4, which will give you minus 1 over 2. So here I'm having minus 1 over 2. Then the next column, this time this will give you minus 3 over 4. This time this will give you minus 1, because 4 over 4 is 1. 0 divided by anything is 0. Then the next one is, this time this will give you 5 over 4. Okay, 5 over 4, because minus divided by minus is plus. Then leave the rest the way they are. 0 minus 3, 8, 0, 6, 1, 15, 2, 1, 2, 4, 9, 3, and 0. Okay, so that is that. So the next and the last one is multiplying by a particular thing, then adding it to the next column. Okay, multiplying a particular column by a scalar, then you now carry it and add to the next column you want it to add. Okay, so what do we do by that? Look at that. It's very simple. This one said that roll, let me say 1, 2, 3, 4. Roll 4 and what am I saying? Roll 4 and roll okay. So roll 4 and 1, okay? Then you are multiplying by maybe minus 2. It means multiply row 4 by minus 2, then add it to row 1, as simple as that. So the first one is what we are using. Multiply row 4 by what? By minus 2, then add it to row 1. So row 1 will never be this thing again. So for me to get row 1, I will multiply row 4 by minus 2, then any answer I get, I'll add it to row 1. So that is that. So row 4, look at 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you now say minus 2 times 0, 0. 0 plus 2 is 2. That is for row 1 now. Minus 2 times 0, 0. 0 plus 0, 0. Minus 2 times 1, minus 2. Minus 2 plus 1 will give you minus 1. Minus 2 times 3, 6, minus 6. Minus 6 plus 4. Minus 6 plus 4 will give you minus 2. Okay, so you are done with that. Then write the rest the way they are by saying 1, minus 1, 5, and 3, 4, 8, 2, and 1, 0, 0, 1, and 3, minus 5, minus 6, 2, and 0. So the same thing is applicable from this answer. Let's do the next one now. From this answer, column, let me say, column 3, multiply column 3, or multiply column 1, and add it to column 3. Multiply column 1 by maybe minus 1 and add it to column 3. Multiply column 1 by minus 1 and add it to column 3. So where I'm having a change is in column 3 is where I'm having a change. So column 1 will remain the way it is. 2, 1, 4, 0, and minus 5. Okay. Then column 2 remain the way it is. Minus 1, 8, 0, and minus 6. Now, in column 3, they say we should multiply column 1 by minus 1. Then we now add it to column what? Column 3. Okay? Okay? Multiply row 1 by 3 and add to it. Okay? So let's go there. Let's do that now. So where I'm having the changes in column 3. So I say minus 1 times 2 is minus 2. Minus 2 minus 1 will give you minus 3 here. Okay, so the next one you have is what? Minus 1 times 1 is minus 1. Minus 1 plus 5 will give you 4. Here is 4. Minus 1 times 4 is minus 4. Minus 4 plus 2 will give you minus 2. Minus 1 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. Finally, minus 1 times minus 5 is 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. So I'm having 7 here. Then the last column, leave it the way it is. So that is that for the operation of row and column. So the next thing we will talk about is now equivalent of matrix. Equivalent of matrix. Equivalent of matrix. So I can clean here. Okay. Ingo, wait. Equivalent. Equivalent of matrix. Equivalent. Equivalent of matrix. Okay. Now we say that I think two matrices are said to be equivalent if they are the same, or they are being, if simply you multiply them by a single scalar and it will give something like, let me show you what I mean by that. For example, we say that matrix A is equal to maybe 1 1 2 0 minus 4 7 4 5 3. Okay. Now we have, and they say that we have that row 2 is being multiplied by 4. If we multiply row 2 by 4, what do we have? We have 1 1 2 0 0 minus 4 7. Then multiply row 2. Okay, multiply row 2 by 4. 4 times 0 0. 4 times this minus 16. 4 times this is 28. Then leave the rest the way they are. Okay. So we have this, and then we now have okay, so this is equivalent to this. Then we now have that row 1 is being multiplied by 3. Okay. And we now have what am I saying? We now have row 3 multiplied by 3. If we have row 3 to be multiplied by 3, what do we have? 1 1 from the last answer. Okay, 1 1 2 then 0 minus 16 28. Multiply this by 3, have 12 15 and 9. Okay, so then finally we now multiply row 1 by minus 2. To multiply row 1 by minus 2, we are having row 1 by minus 2 from the last answer. Minus 2 minus 2 minus 4 0 16 28 12 15 9. Okay, so we have this, and then also the following matrix obtained in A, okay, and I are colon equivalent. Okay, so we can say that all these things are equivalent. Why? Because we just multiplied them by just a single scalar. Okay, so they are all equivalent because we can bring out that scalar out and then we get back that matrix. Okay, so the next thing we'll now talk about is a row reduction echelon matrix. Row reduction echelon matrix. Okay, so let us do that. Row reduction echelon matrix. Row reduction. Okay. Now for row reduction or reducted, let's use reducted. Row reducted echelon matrix. Okay. Now how do I? They say that let A be a non-empty matrix, okay, of M and N. Then A is said to be row reducted echelon from the following four conditions are satisfied. Okay, if the following four conditions are satisfied, the first condition is that the first non-zero entry called the leading entry, okay, if it exists in any row I of the this is equal to 1. Okay, first of all, the leading entries must be equal to 1. Okay, that's the first thing. Now the second thing we need to know is that if the leading entry is 1, then this is obtained by then saying that every other thing, okay, then occur. Now row reduction, how do I put it? It simply means that, I don't know how to say it. Look at what we mean by row reduction. Row reduction is if I have that the leading entry is 1, then everybody under him on the column side will now be 0. Okay, then this one is maybe anything can be here, for instance. Then here again will be 1, then under it will be 0, then the last one will be what? 1 again. Maybe here maybe 2 or anything, then the last one is 1. So this is row reduction, because if you get 1, every other thing under it becomes 0, then we say that it is a row reduction. Okay, so we can do that. They can ask you to do that, so let us do that. From the following, identify row reduction. So let us do that. They said elementary row reduction to echelon form. Reduce the matrix D. Example 26.7. Example 26. Okay, so look at an example. Okay, just you have understood what we mean by reducing row reducted echelon form. Something is in an echelon form if the leading entry is 1 and then everything under it is 0. Every other thing in the other side does not really matter. Okay. So now they gave us an example. They said reduce the matrix A, which is equal to 1 1 1 0 4 1 0 0 1. Okay, reduce this to echelon form, okay. Now we want to reduce this to echelon form. How do you reduce this to echelon form? The first thing you think about is, what do we do to the leading entry here all to be 1 and then everything under it is 0? If you look at it, this one is very simple. Sir, the only problem here is 4. So I have that A is equal to what? 1 1 1 0 4 1 0 0 1. So the only problem here is 4. And what do we do to reduce 4 to 1? Is by dividing that row by 4. Yes, if you can divide that row by 4, we are okay. So we say that what? The row 2 will be divided by 4. I told you how to write divided. I multiplied by the inverse of that 4. So what do we have? We now have that what? Leave row 1 the way it is. Then row 2 is 0. 4 divided by 4, 1. 1 divided by 4 is 1 over 4. Then leave the other one the way they are. So you see, this is echelon because 1, 0 under it, 1, 0 under it, 1. So this is echelon form. Very, very simple. So the next one, number 2. Let's do the next one, number 2. Number 2 said reduce A, which is equal to 1 0 2 5 0 0 0 0 0 0 minus 1 2. Okay, we want to reduce this to echelon form, okay, because it is not in echelon. So reducing it to echelon, first of all, I have 1 0 2 5 0 0 0 0 0 minus 1 0 2. Okay, now the first thing we can do is having 0 at the last part is a very good idea. Is a very good start. So it will not. Let's swap it and know what will happen. So we are going to swap row 2 and 3. Okay, so we now have what? 1 0 1 0 2 5 0 minus 1 0 minus 1 0 0, then 0 2, then 0 0 0 0. Okay, so now we have that 1 is here and 0 is everywhere. So the next thing we need to have is what? 1 here, 0 everywhere. Then the next one is 1. So how do we get 0 here? Sorry, how do we get 1 here? By multiplying everybody by minus 1. That's how we can get 1. So we say that the row 2 must be multiplied by minus 1. So you now have that. The answer to that will now be what? The answer to be 1 0 2 5 0 1. 1 times minus 1 is 1. 0. 1 times this is minus 2. Then finally 0 0 0 0. Now we have that what? 1 0 under it, 1 0 under it. So the last thing we need to do is what? To get 1 here. And how do we get 1 here? We can say add how do we get 1 there? Okay, or is this echelon? 1 0 under it, 1 0. So I think 1 is supposed to be here. The leading entry must be 1, and then everything under it will be 0. So okay, I think that is that. That is just that. That is just that. So there is no leading entry here. So there is nothing to do. There is no leading entry here. So that is that. So this is it. So if this is A, we call the echelon form A star. We call it the echelon form A star. Okay. So let's take another example. Let's take another example. So let's take another example. Another example said that B is equal to 1 minus 1 minus 2 3. Okay, then 0 0 1 4, then 0 1 2 1. Okay, now don't forget that the echelon form, that once you have 0, like this one now is okay. So what we need to do is what? Okay, first of all, I have 1 minus 1 minus 2 3 0 0 1 4 0 1 2 1. Now the first thing I need to do is I need 1 is here, 0 is everywhere. So the next thing to is for here to be 1, and then everywhere is 0. So let me swap these two and see what will happen. So let us swap it. If we swap it, I have that I'm swapping row 2 and 3. So if I swap row 2 and 3, I'm having 1 minus 1 minus 2 3. Then I'm having 0 1 2 and 1. Then 0 0 1 and 4. Okay, now we have gotten that this is correct. 1 is here, 0 everywhere. 1 is here, 1 is here, 0 everywhere. 1 is here. So this one is even very, very simple, and we call the echelon form B what? B star. So that is that. So it is not always as easy as you think. So let us do the next one. Let us do the next one. Okay, let's do the next one. The next one said we should reduce G, which is equal to 1 2 3 4 0 minus 1. Okay, to echelon form. Now what do? We have 1 2 3 4 0 minus 1 to echelon form. Now the first thing we need to do is that we need to get here to be 0. We need to get here to be 0. This one first. And what do we do to get here to be 0? Is either we say we should divide everybody by 4. Okay, we can say let us divide everybody by 4. If you divide everybody by 4, you're having 1, not 0. So let's say multiply here by minus 4 and add it here. Very, very okay. So multiply row. Remember that this is row reduction, so we don't have any business with column. So this is what? Multiply row 1, okay, and add it to row 2 by minus 4. So multiply row 1 by minus 4, add it to row 2. So let's do that. So the row 1 is the same thing. What is changing is row 2. Okay, now we have minus 4 times 1 is minus 4. Minus 4 plus 4 0. Minus 4 times 2 is minus 8. Minus 8 plus 0 is minus 8. Minus 4 times 3 is minus 12. Minus 12 minus 1 is minus 13. Okay, so we have done very well by having 1 and 0 here. So the next thing is that the leading entry here will be what? 1. And how do we get 1 here? We will get 1 here by dividing this by minus 8. So we say row 2 should be multiplied by what? Minus 1 over 8. And that is how to divide. I told you that. So the answer will now be, so leave row 1 the way it is. Row 2 will now be anything divided by 0 is 0. This time this will give you minus 8 times 1 over minus 1 over 8. Minus minus is plus. This take care of this. I'm left with 1. So this is 1. Then the other one will now be minus 13 over 8. Sorry, just 13 over 8, because minus minus is plus. So if you look at that, this is 1 and the one under it is 0. The leading entry in the next one is still 1. So we have reduced it to echelon form. Okay, so that is that. So let us do another example, then the last example, then we move into the next one, which is called the roll ranking. Okay, so let's go there. The last example, these ones I'm solving are very, very simple. So let's go to a little bit complex one. So where we are to reduce A, which is equal to matrix of 1 3 6 3 minus 2 4 2 minus 5 minus 2 4 1 and 10. Okay, now first of all, the first thing we need, I want to start solving it. We'll reduce it to echelon form. I hope you know, to echelon form. I just want to solve it here because of the board. Now the first thing we need to do is, well, we have gotten that 1 is here, so we need everywhere here to be 0. So what do we do to make it 0? We don't need to swap. So what we need to do is, since here is already 1, we will now say multiply the row 1 by minus 3 and add it to row 2. The same row 1 again, multiply it by minus 2 and add it to row 3. Multiply it by minus 4 and add it to row 4, so that everywhere here will first of all turn 0. So we draw our line and say that row 1, we are adding it to row 2, but before then we multiply it by minus 3. We are not done. The same row 1, we will add it to row 3, and then before then we have to multiply by this. Then finally, the same row 1, we're adding it to row 4, and then I'm multiplying it by what? Minus 4. So let's do that now. So you have 1 3 6. This one will remain the way they are. Now we said minus 3. Minus 3 times this is minus 3. Minus 3 plus 3 is 0. Okay, minus 3 times this is minus 9. Minus 9 minus 2 give you minus 11. Minus 3 times this is minus 18. Minus 18 plus 4 will give you minus 14. Minus, I'm done with that side. So you go to the next one. Minus 2 times 1 is minus 2. Minus 2 plus 2 is 0. Minus 2 times 3 is minus 6. Minus 6 minus 5 is minus 11. Minus 2 times 6 is minus 12. Minus 12 minus 2 is what? Minus 14. Okay, we are done with that. The next one is what? Minus 4 times this is minus 4. Minus 4 plus 4, 0. Minus 4 times this is minus 12. Minus 12 plus 1 is what? Minus 11. Minus 4 times this is minus 24. Minus 24 plus 10 will give you minus 14. Okay, now we have gotten this. So the next thing we need to do is we need to get 1 here, and if we get 1 here, everything here will be 0. So before we can get 1 there, first of all, we need to divide it by 11. That is the only thing that can make here 1. Okay, dividing it by minus 11. So we say that we are dividing row 2 by what? Minus 11. Minus 1 over 11. That's how to divide. I told you that. So first of all, the answer is going to be, let me have 1 3 6 0 1 and 14 over 11. I hope you know. So the rest remain the way they are. So I'm having 0 minus 11 minus 14, 0 minus 11 minus 14. Okay, so now since I've gotten 1 here, the next thing to do is to make everything at the denominator 0. And how do you make it to be 0? By multiplying that row 2 by 11 and adding it to row 3 and row 4. So you say row 2, we are multiplying it and adding it to row 3 by what? 11. And the same thing here, row 2, we are multiplying it and adding it to row 4 by what? 11 again, because they are still the same thing. So we are going to have 1, 3, 6 here, then 0, 1, 14 over 11. Okay, then we will now come to row 3 now. 11 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 0 is 0. 11 times 1 is 11. 11 minus 11 is 0. 11 times this is 14. 14 plus this is 0. 11 times, for this side now, 11 times 0 is 0. 11 times 1 is 11. 11 plus this is 0. 11 times this is 14. 14 plus this is 0. So this is simply the answer, because there is no leading entry here, and anywhere we have leading entry, everything under it is 0, and the leading entry is just 1. So that is that. So the next thing we will now look at is reducing the following to roll reducted echelon form, hence or otherwise obtain the respective rank, row rank. How do you from here, row ranking, how do we rank a row? Okay, the row ranking. Okay, now for row ranking, we're going to have, I think is how did we get rank that time? From the diagonal. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so how do you get rank? I think from the what I told you before, ranking is simply by adding the diagonals, adding the leading entries of the diagonals, or adding the leading entries. Let me remember. Okay, the rank of, where is it? Okay, yes, I think row ranking is simply by adding the entries. Okay, by adding the entries. So in this one A here, the row rank is so the rank here, the row rank. How do we represent row rank? Okay, we call it R of A. R of A, that is the rank of A, is simply the leading entries, I think, of the diagonal. I think that is it. That is 1 plus 1, which is what? 2. Okay, so that is that. One plus 1, 2, 2 plus 1, 3, 3. Okay, it's just to add the entries, not the diagonal, just the entries. Okay, it's by adding the entries, please. The leading entries, not just the entry, the leading entries. So the leading entry of the first row is 1, plus the leading entry of the second row is 1, which will give you 2. Okay, so that is how to get the rank. So that is that. Now there is something that is called colon echelon reduction. Colon echelon reduction. Let's do that one. Let me check my time. Okay, colon echelon reduction is as good as the way we did this one. So colon reducted echelon matrix. Colon reducted echelon matrix is that if you have a matrix like this, in colon is that the colon here is 1, then everything in the row will become 0. Okay, then anything can be here. The next one this way, you are going diagonal. The next one should be 1 again. Everything under it will be 0. So anything can be here, 2, 3, then the last one will be 1. So that is that. In the row reduction, the lower triangular is 0. Okay, can I call it the lower triangular? Let me just say the lower triangular is 0. Okay, something like that. But it's not really always like that. But just know that if you have 1 here, everything in the row will be 0. The leading entry from the other side is always 1. I don't know if to call it the leading entry. They are not really leading entry, but just know that if you have 1, then here will be 0. 1 again, here will be 0. So if you are coming from behind like this, okay, you are not having 1 and every other thing becomes 0, the way we did in the other one. So maybe we'll take an example to that. Then in our next example, we'll then talk about okay. Okay, let's take the last example. They say find the rank. Find the rank. The rank of the matrix A, which is equal to 2 minus 1 0 1 minus 1 0 1 1 1 0, then 1 1 1 0 6. Okay, now before we do this, now let us first of all reduce it. You can reduce it. You can decide to reduce it by what is it called, colon rank. Okay, you can decide to reduce it by colon reducted echelon form or roll reducted echelon form, anyone you like. So but anyone you are getting, you know that you are getting the rank. If you are using roll, then you are getting roll rank. If you are using colon, you are getting colon rank. So let us use colon for this particular one. In using colon, the first one we have to have that, well, here must be 0, it must be 1. So how do we get here to be 1? By dividing this matrix by 2. So we say that this matrix, this row, that row 1 must be divided by 2. Okay, so what answer are you getting? This time this, you have what? 1. Then this time this is what? Minus 1 over 2. This time this is what? 0. This time this is what? 1 over 2. This time this is what? Minus 1 over 2. Okay, then every other thing remain the way they are. 1 0 0, sorry, 0 1 0. Then I'm having 1 1 1 0 6. Okay, so now the next thing we need to do is that since here is 1, everything here is going to be 0. Sorry, am I using roll? I'm supposed to use colon. Since I said I'm using colon, sorry. So since I'm using colon, so we need, sorry, I'm using colon. So we need 1 here. So everything here should be sorry, everything here will be 1. So I should say colon 1 divided by 1 over 2. Since I said I'm using colon, so it's going to be what? Divided by 2 I have 1, divided by 2 I have 0, divided by 2 I have 1 over 2. So every other place remain the way they are. Give me vitamin when go take your place away. So since you have gotten that here is 1, don't forget that in colon reduction or colon reducted, that if here is 1, every other thing there in the row will be 0 0. So how do I make everything here to be 0? We can say multiply colon 1 by 1, add it to, in fact, look at what we are supposed to do there. Multiply colon 1 multiply column 1 by 1 and add it to column 2. Because if I multiply this by 1 and add it here, I'll get here to be 0. So what do you do here? You leave that one the way it's already 0. So what do you do here? Multiply column 1 by minus 1 and add it to column 3. So here is multiply column 1 and add to column 3 minus 1. Then finally column 4 should be multiply column 4 and add to column 4 of just 1. So let us do that. What do you think the answer will be? Column 1, leave it the way it is, 1, 0, 1 over 2. Now column 2 said we should multiply column 1 by 1 and add it to this. So 1 times this 1, 1 plus this is 0. 1 times this is 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 times this is half. Half plus 1 will give you 3 over 2. 3 over 2. Okay? Then the next one I said, okay, we should leave column 3 the way it is. Sorry, this one is 4 and 5. No, this is 4. This one is 5. So this one is already 0, leave it the way it is. Okay? But the other one is multiply it by minus 1. So minus 1 times this minus 1. Minus 1 plus 0, 0. Minus 1 times this 0, 0 plus this is 1. Minus 1 times this is minus half. Minus half plus 0 is minus half. Then the last one said multiply it by 1 and add to this. So I'm going to have 1. 0 times this is 0 and 0 there. Then 1 times this is half. Half plus 6 is 1 over 2 plus 6. We have 13 over 2. 13 over 2. Okay? So that is that. Sorry, here should be 0. So the next one is that so anything can be here, but the leading entry in the next line, I've done the first one, so the next line is 1. So everything here is supposed to be 0. So how do we get 0 here now? That's the problem. How do we get 0 there? You can get 0 there by how can we get 0 here? We cannot say multiply by 0 because they say that we are multiplying with a number that is not 0. Okay, so what do we do to get 0 there? Okay. I'm talking about what do we do here to get 0? Multiply column 2 by minus 1, add it here. So let us do that now. So what can give us 0 here? You know that here is already, let's circle it and know what we are doing. Circle this one, circle this one. So I'm interested in getting 0 here and here. So I can say multiply column 2 and add it to column 3 by minus 1. The same thing is what you do to column 4. Multiply column 2 and add to column 4 by minus 1. It will help us to get that 0 that we're looking for. So this is 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 4 0. So I'm having 0, 1, 0. Let me write it according to column so that I will not make mistake. 1 over 2 here. So let us start multiplying the column. Multiplying column 2 by, let me write down the column 2 self, 3 over 4. Let's multiply. Minus 1 times this is minus 1. Minus 1 plus this is 0. Minus 1 times this is minus 3 over 2. Add it to this one. You have plus 1, which will give you minus 1 over 2. So minus 1 over 2 is here. So, and then what did I say? Then this one remained the same because it's already 0. 13 over 2. So we are left with the last line. The last line we said we should multiply it by the same minus 1. So minus 1 times this is minus 1. Minus 1 plus 1 is 0. Minus 1 times this is minus 3 over 2. Minus 3 over 2 plus 13 over 2. So I'm having 10 over 2, which is what? 5. So I'm having 5 here. Okay. So the last thing I'm going to have is for this half to be 0 and to be 1. And then everything beside it will now be 0. Then I'm done. So first of all, to make it 1 is by multiplying it by minus 2. Yes. Multiply it by minus 2, then you have 1. So that is multiply column 3 by minus 2. Multiply column 3 by minus 2. Column 3. Multiply it by minus 2. So if I multiply column 3 by minus 2, let me write column 1 1 0 1 over 2 colon 2 0 1 3 over 4 colon 3 0 multiply 0 minus 2 times this will give you just 1. Okay, then leave the rest the way they are. 0 0 5 0 0 13 over 2. Okay, so since I've gotten here to be 1, the next thing is that I need here to be 0 0. So how do you make it 0 now? That is multiply colon 3 by minus 5. Add it here. Multiply colon 3 and add to colon 4 by minus 5. Then how do you make here 0? Multiply colon 3 and add it to colon 5 by negative of this minus 13 over 2. So my final answer will now become, leave colon 1 the way it is, 1 0 1 over 2 0 1 3 over 4 0 1 sorry 0 0 1. Then here will be 0, so it will be 0 0 0. In fact, here will be 0 0 0 0. So that is that. So now the leading entry, the colon rank should be what? 1 plus 1 plus 1, which will give you 3. That is the colon ranking. So thank you very much for watching. In the next video, we'll now talk about the system of equation. May the peace of the Lord be with you. Please share and subscribe.